and Patreon subscribers, we're going to look at dollar Swiss, and we've got the large stop loss cluster. It's the largest one now of all the pairs that we look at. So this is the largest liquidity, and we came very, very close, 93.20, and yeah, we came like 7 pips until that, you know, the target. We should really be falling because of that, and they're going long. Okay, so let's take that off, and we can see, yeah, we were saying that potentially we were going to get a crossover in that 21 moving average. We didn't. They went long, so price fell, and then they sold it, so price come up, and now they're going long. So I think this is probably likely fake, and we're going to come and get that stop loss cluster 93.20, 26 pips away. Let's have a look at the sellers. The profitable traders are selling, so I think we're likely going to get that. Things are lining up for it, and it says possibly going up, just to be a bit of a pickle, and also potentially to wait for that to get a little bit larger, maybe. But we should be getting that. Okay, let's look at AU. It's quite frustrating sometimes because things are lining up for, you know, for things to materialize, and you just need a bit of patience sometimes. Let's have a look at AU. Likewise, we really probably shouldn't have fallen here. It could have just been a stop hunt, and also we've got to remember things have to retrace, but they have shorted it there. All right, so they, you know, unless it breaks below there, 67.16, that would be unusual to see price to come below, because that's where they shorted it. All right, and if they did, they'd profit. So currently this is okay, slightly naughty, but they might just want to stop 67.40 and 68, and we are a buy, and they shorted it here. The buyers are in control. So how legit this H4 candle is possibly like one of those retracement candles. You can see how you know, by the dip sort of territory, aren't we? So it could be like buy a dip thing. It could be buy a dip at the stop loss cluster, which would be really quite frustrating. And how far are we? Yeah, we're not far. 17 pips. That's not too bad. So that's a potential scenario. But you know, they are selling it, so we really should be coming up. Let's have a look at EU. And poor old Walter is really short this, and he's been selling it for a few hundred pips now. But yeah, you can see how we're quite bullish, and there's monthly pivot, there's last month's monthly pivot. Buyers are in control, the dumb money are selling. The one above is at 106. I think what's going to happen is that we're going to probably go consolidation, and inevitably we're going to break higher, and it might want those stops to be a little bit higher. And we've got MR1 there, so we've got to pay attention to MR1. That might be a likely destination. Yeah, so I think that's what's going to happen. We might consolidate, wait for that stop loss cluster to get higher and larger, and then we're going to probe it, but we're going to have some technical resistance up here. And so that's what I think is going to happen. We're a buy here, and the SLC below is 105.26. GU, I think we took some stops out, if I remember. I just did the stop loss cluster update. Yeah, I think that's what it was. 122.80. We've fallen a little bit since. We are a buy, and the one below is at 121. Let's take these guys off, and they are selling it. The buyers are in control. Remember, this is the profitable traders. This is the you know, the minority of retail traders. This is that 20%, and they're the successful guys. So they went long here. They bought here. So they're doing all right. 92 pips up in profit. So they entered here at 121.51, and we have to remember this is quite well supported using the better volumes indicator. If you remember from yesterday's video, when we're looking at those white candles and we're looking at those red candles, and those white candles are indicating bullish, you know, bullish volumes, and there's one here. So we have to mark them out. This is the area of support. There was a bullish white candle in the better volumes. I'll show you. Yeah, that's fine. There. See that white candle? Oh, okay, so yeah, more or less here. So this is going to be an area of support, and it coincides with the stop loss cluster. But I took that off because when I launched my MetaTrader 4, it was like this, and it encompassed the whole screen, so I had to remove the indicator. But that's the reason for removal. But you can see how you use it. White candles are the bullish, red are bearish, and there's one of note here. It might have coincided with this, but that's going to be an area of support, and it coincides with the stop loss cluster. So potentially down to test this, grab that liquidity, and bounce higher. Dollar Swiss recovered. Now let's look at the dollar yen, because that was our trade of the day, and it went really well. And we netted 80 odd pips on this. So this is pretty cool. We are a buy at the big picture. The sellers are in control. However, the dumb money are selling. So we kind of joined the dumb money a little bit yesterday, but it did work out for us. And technically speaking, it was okay to short. The one above is 136.90 and 135.70. And I'll show you what I mean by see, we've got the descending channel, a descending channel, and a descending channel. So we've got a daily H4 and 30. So we've got, that's quite a good amount of confluence there. Potentially the stop loss cluster 136.90, 135.70, and these are the better volumes. So that's this bearish here, okay, and the bullish is the red. I just remembered something actually. It's the on here, GU. That's that's wrong. I need to change that. So we go to custom, better volumes. It's the red is the bullish. So just in case there was any confusion, red is buy and white is sell. All right. So just if you use this indicator, remember red is buy and white is sell. All right. So that does match to that, and this is why this is going to be well supported on cable. Okay. And then just to go back on dollar yen again, and there's that bearish volume here, so we can add a shape on that. That's fine, and we can just match that candle there, so we know that's going to be a resistance area up here. So potentially come and get that stop loss cluster, and we're going to have some pretty heavy resistance on the day, H4 and 30. Oh, that's quite cool. Oh, that's quite nice. I didn't know you could do that. And that's that. So have a great weekend, you guys. Trade safely. And next week, I think we'll just be on a we'll take like a minimalist approach to our trade of the day. And I think less is going to be more. We've got the CPI, we've got the ECB, which is going to be pretty crazy because they're going to hike apparently by 75 basis points, which there's a small possibility of that to happen. And we've got Powell, and then we've got his press conference. So if you remember last time, we were very much risk on. He gave the nod because he kept saying that inflation is cooling, and he repeated it. So that was like a good indication for risk on. Now it all depends on what he says at the press conference. So we have to be really, really careful, and we'll take a minimalist approach to the trade of the day next week. Try and use the better volume indicators. Remember, white is sell and red is buy. And you can use them and make a bit of profit. We know that this is going to be a decent resistance, and we know that the yields are falling as well. And I'll show you the 10-year. So the VIX is spiking a bit, so that's worth noting. And this is the 10-year under a bit of pressure, technically speaking. And I think inevitably we're going to come down here, 3.358. We're not that far away, but I think this is going to be the next target of support, so we can potentially fall, and this is going to cause UJ to fall as well. We might be supported here. Also interesting, we've got some here as well. Can you see? That's quite interesting. So tricky one. I think UJ might be well supported from a correlation view to the 10-year. So get a copy of this 10-year. Keep an eye on that June high area on the 10-year. And it looks like we might be at some support here. And if this breaks, we'll target this, I think. So be careful, and we'll have to see what happens next week. Just make sure that you know your sizing. I put a thing out on Discord about your lot size. So do note that, and you do need to know what your risk into your account. We don't really want to be trading more than 3% on any trade. and we've just been trading 1% this week because of the uncertainty. So it's possible we're going to have a little bit of support in the 10-year. If so, dollar yen can be supported, and it might mean a little bit of a headwind for gold as well. So be careful, and I'll speak to you guys soon.